Would it be insane if I said that I gave my life to the Lord at the age of 9, but it took me all the way until the age of 27 to realize that I have not been loving the Lord properly because I've incorrectly defined what it means to fear God? See, the fear of the Lord that is supposed to be the beginning of knowledge in accordance to what the psalmist says, or the beginning of wisdom in accordance to what Solomon says. Yeah, I robbed that text of its richness because I imposed my cultural definition of that word on the theological definition of that word. And I formed what is considered to be servile fear. See, servile fear is more like the fear a slave has toward their cruel master, where they're only compliant not out of love, not out of understanding, but out of fear of the whip. In other words, my pursuit of God was not actually pursuit of God, it was more avoidance of hell. YouTube video, yeah, y'all gonna want to watch that full video, but I'm gonna give y'all a snippet here. Because in my articulation, I'm just going to add language to what a lot of us as Christians have been thinking and feeling, but did not have the words to describe. Because backstory, I gave my life to the Lord at the age of 9. When they presented that gospel to me, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. Yeah, problem was my childlike mind interpreted that scripture completely differently. See, I got to believe in him to avoid perishing. In other words, I have no interest in loving this Jesus. I just have an interest in believing what he did so that I avoid the consequences of not believing what he did. Because my human experience up to that point acted as my interpretive lens. You want to know what happened when I was a child? Yes, when you're under a household and there is a 5'10", 220-pound muscular man, that's your dad, and you got a mama that don't be playing with you either, you know what you gonna do? You gonna comply in order to avoid that belt. I wasn't following the rules because I love my parents. I was following the rules because I didn't want to get a whooping. So you take that ideology and you mix it with the theology, and all of a sudden you're going to get this mix that creates, once again, the servile fear. When it comes to faith, foundation determines function. At the foundation of my faith was fear. So fast forward, following the rules, what do I do with my spiritual disciplines? Yes, I read my Bible, I study, I start exegeting that text, but I'm not exegeting the text in order to grow closer to God because I love God. No, I'm exegeting the text in order to avoid hell. And when I'm being kind and gentle and loving toward people as I'm instructed to do, that's not driven by the Spirit. That is birthed by my desire for self-preservation. In my prayer life, I'm praying in order to appease a God that can punish me for not doing it. And fam, if I'm being honest with you, this literally created a performative Christianity that I still deal with to this day. This is why I can exegete scripture like nobody's business, but ask me to submit my life in private. All of a sudden, see, I ain't got no problem with exegeting and teaching and preaching scripture. And that performance-based Christianity is so dangerous because it leads to pride. And when it leads to pride, you got this form of godliness where you look close to God, but you're actually detestable to that same God. It's just real conflict. This is a conversation. I ain't gonna fake it. We just getting started though.